Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference in San Francisco is always pored over for hints as to what consumers will be using next. One of the few Australian journalists there for the event was Stephen Fennick, the editor of techguide.com.au, and he joins us now from our Sydney City studio. Stephen, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Just firstly, looking at this, was this really the biggest Apple keynote and product release since the death of Steve Jobs?
It was actually, yeah. This is a huge annual event. They've got a very large developer community, obviously using for the iPhone, the iPad and the Mac computer themselves. So this was an important event on their calendar. And as usual, they have their software updates and there's also expectations for hardware updates. The biggest expectation was the iPhone, which didn't materialise, but they did release a new MacBook Pro 15-inch with Retina display, which was ultra thin. I've actually got it here in the studio. I could flash it if you want me to.
No, don't do that.
Look, you mentioned there was no iPhone, of course, but there was new software, the iOS 6, that
That's
they
right.
said, look, will be coming later in the year. And of course, they get that out to the developers. They love all this stuff, and they'll be working on this new Macs to develop for presumably the release of the next iPhone when that iOS 6 is about ready to come.
That's absolutely right, yeah. Well, iOS 6 is the next iteration of the iPhone, iPad and iPod Touch operating system. Very important one for developers. The App Store's really grown hugely each year on year. I think they've had now more than 30 billion app downloads since 2008 when it first started. But the speculation of when the iPhone is due to be released, if they follow their regular product cycle, we'll probably see it around September, October. But there's, with the pressure from other mobile manufacturers, namely Samsung with their Galaxy S3, that's getting a lot of attention. There's a lot of people who are coming off contract from the iPhone 4, which was released 2 years ago, will now be looking at either waiting for the new iPhone or possibly trying an Android device for the first time.
Stephen, talk to me too about what this means for publishers. Look, iPad's been terribly successful these days. They release everything on the iPad. Android's a bit of an afterthought. Is there anything happening in the market that would lead you to think, look, they need to start thinking about Android sooner?
Well, I think the iPad's been a huge success in e-publishing. There's been a huge push, especially in education circles, to rather than burdening students with a very heavy backpack, they can have all this stuff on a tablet. And Apple, being very popular in the education market, have really embraced that. But the publishers, we're seeing a lot of growth in Android devices too. Now there are more users on Android than there are even on iPhone, and the sheer number of tablets available for Android as well. You'll see a huge growth in that area. It's not just that iPad is the leader in the tablet space, but every other manufacturer is embracing Android, and we're seeing some very competitive products out there that are vying for consumers' attention. That the market's growing rapidly.
Stephen, I just wondered, because often something that we hear is that mobile is the next big trend, that smartphones are where to be. Yet, obviously, we've seen the huge success of the iPad, and has that really taken away, I guess, from the iPhone as the big media consumption device?
Well, the iPhone is still a very popular device for Apple, but the iPad has been probably their most successful product ever. It's really created a whole, when it was released 2 years ago, it created a whole new offering and offered something in between the smartphone experience and the computer experience, which previously people thought was going to be filled by the netbook, which really was popular for a year, but then when the iPad came along, it really killed it off. So I don't think Apple's quite cannibalising itself in terms of iPad users not buying iPhones. You'll find it's the opposite, that if you're in the Apple family, if you buy an iPhone, you're likely to get an iPad, which is all united now using their new iCloud online service. So all your gadgets are synced, all your documents and files are also synced across your iPhone, iPad and even your Mac now.
Stephen, great to get your thoughts on all of that. Really interesting. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Stephen Fennick there, the editor of techguide.com.au. Well, time now for a look at the TV ratings for week 23 for the free-to-air top 10 first. And The Voice there for 9 again at number 1, and not long left with the grand final coming up next week.
2 episodes to go. Get a double dose this week, Sunday and a Monday night.
And The Block also doing very good numbers for 9, as we've mentioned before.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about The Block. They talk about The Voice turning around 9, but I think it's really a tandem job between those 2 programs.
And just looking elsewhere, Downton Abbey and Revenge for 7 also appearing in the top 10.
Yeah, you can see the power of The Block there, you know. That what is it, 6 nights a week now it's delivering, you know, so it's doing fantastic business.
Let's have a look at the top 5 sport shows on subscription TV. Week 23 there, NRL Eels versus the Sharks for Fox Sports 2. And looking at the non-sport, Grand Designs Australia always in that top 5.
Yeah, a couple of rugby union games cropping up there for the first time for a while in the sport. And yeah, and again, lifestyle, then lots of animation on Fox now.
Just elsewhere, I mean, there's been lots of talk in the TV sector. One of the rumours out there, speculation that Nine's big star Karl Stefanovic might be going to 10, that his contract's going to be up soon. Is there any truth to this?
Well, this one's been around for a little while. It's hard to get a gauge on it, you know, that... to be honest, I don't know. Some people saying, oh, maybe it's contract and renegotiation time, and this will help, you know, get a better, you know, a better contract at 9 again. But it'd be, they're talking about him going, if he went to 10, they'd move the project to Sydney. He'd host the project in the evening. But it's, you know, why would you poach the star of a breakfast show and then put him in a different time slot? Doesn't, when your own breakfast show's in a bit of trouble, doesn't make a lot of sense.
There's also been speculation surrounding Darren McMullen, the host of The Voice.
Yeah. I think he's definitely staying. That's, I'm not sure where that one came from. They all seem very happy with Darren. You know, he's a great guy. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and he's done a fantastic job. I don't think he'd want to meddle with that that lineup.
And also Mel B, being very cautious about what she's saying about her future at 7.
Yeah, I think she might go from dancing. They'd probably look for someone else to co-host there. I've been under a lot of pressure this series of dancing. The number's been down a little bit, but it's been doing it tough, you know. It was, I think, had The Voice there for a little while at the start of the season, and the block's been doing fantastic numbers on Sunday night. So they probably want to look at it and see how can we refresh this again for next year.
Just some big ratings events, obviously, this week. We've seen the State of Origin Game 2. Big figures for Nine there.
Yeah, look, just a touch under 2.5 million. It was the biggest Game 2 ever. Game 1 this year did 2.5 million. You're looking at a total Australia audience, regional and metros, just under 4 million people. So it does fantastic business.
And what about being Lara Bingle? Because there was so much talk about this in the lead up to it. Has it been a big success? It's been
amazing
yet?
to talk about it. The ratings didn't quite live up to the talk, but it did pretty well. Look, over 900,000, that's pretty good. People have been analysing them minute by minute, you know. It's just, whoa, it's just looking at it too closely, I think. But yeah, no, look, it did very well. Australian ob docs have been haven't been doing as well this year as they have in the past. So that's one of the best performances this year. So yeah, tend to be very happy with that.
Is it though that key hit, do you think, that could turn around the company, you know, that James Chessel was talking about earlier?
That's not going to be the one program that'll turn around 10.
All right. Now, just at 7, the morning show has turned 5.
Yeah, 5 years old. Next Monday's the actual anniversary, and they'll be celebrating in Hollywood. So they're going to LA, Kylie and Larry going for a week over there, broadcasting some shows back here.
Just some other talk of what's to come as well. Nine looking at 2 series of the block next year. Yeah,
they're all going to milk this one next year. They said, look, it'll be a little bit different to what you're used to, but there'll be 2 series. I think one starting straight into the ratings in February. Should be interesting. Could see the show up against 7's My Kitchen Rules, and if it can start to eat away at that audience, you know, it's really game on for the ratings for that first quarter of the year, which have really been dominated by 7. A bunch of other stuff. Women's Weekly show coming into prime time. It's previously been out of ratings or on a Saturday evening. What else are they doing? There are 2 series of the Ashes next year, because I think the Ashes have been postponed because of the Olympics. So there's going to be an Ashes from the UK mid-year, then a summer cricket tour here. Nine are going to show both of them. They don't often show the cricket from the UK, but they're going to do that.
And 10 looking at 2 series of MasterChef this year.
Yeah, we're going to get a MasterChef All-Stars during the Olympic Games. I think it's about 3 weeks or so. So it sounds pretty good, this one. And MasterChef itself's been doing really well. It held up quite well against the State of Origin, did over 1 million people this week. So it's one of the bright spots at 10.
And just quickly, Astro Awards just a week away. Is it going to be televised, and who's hosting?
No hosts this year. For their 10th anniversary, they've decided to just get people representing each of the years through the decade. They haven't released the names of those people yet. Strangely, you're going to be able to see it on Big Pond. I think it's Big Pond TV. It's going to be streamed probably a day later or something. It was probably an interesting move by the subscription people, thinking, look, let's get to an audience that don't normally watch subscription TV product, and they might be tempted to sign up.
Just quickly, a lot of moves in media, as always. Interesting, too, that the Grazia editor, Kelly Hush, has been confirmed as the new Harper's editor.
Yep, she's moving across, going to start work immediately. Amy Malloy's taken over as deputy editor or acting editor of Grazia. She's worked on the UK edition, so she'll probably do a good job.
James, thank you as always.
Thanks, Brian.
James Manning, there, editor and publisher of Mediaweek, and from the team here, thanks for your company.